once you lose your base in fitness, the only thing you can do is start from scratch again, especially if it's been a long time. That's the one mistake that most everyone makes. That's what drives people to using gear, is that all that hard work has to repeat again and again. It gets a little easier, and with the motor neuron wiring, there is a memory there. But, they say motor neurons die, so you start to see a degradation. But for somebody who gives up that base in fitness, the same thing holds true in academia, where the assumed information becomes obsolete in a short period of time. There really are no absolutes in the human continuum of education. It's all capitalistically inclined. So you have these people who are extremely cocky because that's what sells. That's what gets the attention. But when you really look at it, especially when you see people like Arnold Schwarzenegger who are praised, a lot of people don't know it. I'd go on forums years ago and see all the comments that had to do with Primbolin, an extremely expensive and out of reach steroid that all those poor people that Arnold Schwarzenegger was competing against, quote unquote competing against, was inaccessible to them. They didn't even know about that stuff. So it gave him this upper edge. He's also extremely spoiled. And if you want to say he was extremely gifted, he had chicken legs compared to the rest of those bodybuilders. He had a total, lack of development in certain areas, like his glutes and his lower body. And even his abdomen was not nearly up to the same conditioning as a lot of the competitors that were around him in that day, that worked twice as hard, didn't have the same gear available to them. And that wasn't something that was looked at under scrutiny. But if you look at all that with what I'm telling you now, back then, it becomes very prevalent. You see the smooth lines, you see the vascular conditioning. That wasn't because he was doing cardio for hours and hours at a time. No, it was because he was privileged. He was overly privileged, and he was able to utilize, like Ronnie Coleman in a speech, idolized him as the greatest bodybuilder that ever lived. And it's like, no, he wasn't the greatest bodybuilder that ever lived. He was the greatest ego builder that ever lived. And the ego builder generation is something that's dying away, whether people like it or not. It's only the rationalistic scope. And then people are forced to go into this submission that, what is rationalism? Like, what is a rational attribute? We have to go in and look at the axiom, and the axiom of contention. What are you contending is your principal orientation? And if a person can't get past the academic rhetoric and talk about something that's very real and binding of why they are promoted to do a specific action or deed. In other words, actions and deeds are extremely important, and what we do 100% should represent and identify who we are. Most people, in summary, aren't anything. They don't really have a core, they don't have a true self, and they don't have an axiom by which to promote them through the solution that you see around you. That is also heavily under scrutiny now, physics, with what is the central first principles. Even thermodynamics is going to be something that is questioned as more physics from other places are thrown into the pot that doesn't seem to make sense. A lot of this is being discovered in the areas of quantum physics and subparticles, where things just don't seem to be adding up.